Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we've got the infotainment breakdown on the 2024 BMW i5. In this video we're going to go over how to use the 14.9-inch center touchscreen, the 12.3-inch gauge cluster display in front of you, and the head-up display right up top. We're going to look at Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, test out the voice commands, show you how to pair up a phone, all that good stuff. But before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at it. And the car does shut down because this thing is electric and they don't want you leaving it on unknowingly. But the all-new BMW i5. Now this was going to be remarkably similar, obviously, to a normal 5 Series, but BMW just tacks on an I to the name when it is the all-electric version. So this one, all-electric, almost 300 miles of range, is the 40e model, iDrive 40, rather. And we've got a lot of videos covering it, so if you do want to see more, check the link below. We've got a Bowers & Wilkins sound system demo, a full review, a range test, all of that can be found below. First things first, if you're renting this car or you just bought it, I highly recommend spending a little bit of time and getting acclimated with the vehicle. You'll enjoy your time so much more if you're stopped at a safe place, you play around with the settings and features, maybe you watch this video and kind of play around at the same time and learn what's important to you. I'm going to go over some of the features that might not matter to you, and I might skip over some of the settings, such as navigation settings, that might be important to you. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Let's start all the way up on top in the windshield. Hopefully you can see it here in the camera, but we have a head-up display. Right now it's showing me the speed and digital readout and then the speed limit. If I press this button right here, this gear icon, that's going to give me the options on the screen right in front of me for content, layout, and head up. And I toggle back and forth using this toggle controller in the middle of the right side of the wheel, press head up, and then I get different head-up display views. Right now I'm in the reduced view, but if I scroll up, I've got a sport view. It's giving me some power readout. An assisted view, it's going to show me some of my driver safety features. Directional view shows me a compass. If I had navigation going, it would show me up there as well. And then standard, kind of the same as reduced, but a little bit more robust looking. So you can choose between all those, and that is about all of your head-up display settings from there. You might have a few more on the center screen that we'll find in a little bit. Then in front of us in this center gauge display, we do have a few different layouts. As you see it right now, I'm getting a speed readout on the left in both analog and digital, power on the right. I've got a gear indicator, and bottom left, I've got percentage of my battery left. Moving along the bottom, we've got a clock, speed limit readout, seatbelt status, outside temperature, and distance to empty. And then right in the middle is a customizable screen. Right now it's showing me a very basic map readout, but again, if I press this gear icon and go to content, I can scroll through. I can get a G meter, and the media that's playing. I can get a route preview, content assisted view, again showing me my safety features, range prediction, trip data showing me how much power I'm using, or just reduce, and that just puts your digital speed right in the middle. And then once you choose which information you'd like to see right there in the middle, you go over to layout, press 1 to the right, then you can choose different layouts for the gauge cluster. It's kind of cool that you can get a little bit more of a traditional view or a little bit more futuristic looking, if you will. And that's all you got for the front two center screens. So like I said, good resolution, good amount of information, but also not information overload. I think they balanced it nicely. Making our way to the center screen. Like I said, this is nearly a 15-inch display. It's good resolution. It's running BMW's iDrive 8.5. I guess I should have said that more at the beginning of the video. I don't love the fact that virtually all of your controls are buried into the screen. However, at least the screen is very, very responsive. Cars such as the Mustang Mach-E that buried everything into the screen, climate controls and everything, my problem with that was mostly that there were such delays between all of your inputs. At least this one is quick and decently laid out. Also, you don't have to touch the screen. You can use all the system using this center rotary knob. So you can see me scrolling through the map right now. I've got quick toggles for your media screen, your telephone, your navigation, your home screen. So most of the controls there you can pretty easily handle with this center rotary knob. But I like that because I'll be driving around and in a traffic situation, I like being able to make delayed inputs without having to reach my whole arm way up and put fingerprints all over my touchscreen. But if you do want to touch it, you've got climate controls down here at the bottom for both the driver and passenger. If you click them, oh, interesting. Can you not do your heated seat controls when the climate's off? Let's see. If I want climate off, Ooh, that's not a good functionality to me. So you can't do heated seat or steering wheel unless your climate control is running, but you can see I'm adjusting the temperature right there. And if you press this climate button, then that brings you into a whole climate control screen. You can choose your fan speeds. You can choose settings for both the driver and front passenger, seating heat distribution, etc. Climate control when getting in. And you can also choose the few other of your basic climate adjustments there. And you can turn the whole thing off. Going back home and looking at this bottom persistent menu, you see quick toggles for your media, map, climate, home, app screen, and phone. So let's take another look around the home screen in general, or what they call home. It's obviously got map in the background, which you can click and then brings you directly to your mapping application. Going back, you have a little bit of a vehicle information screen here on the left showing you information about your charge status. Looks like this car has gotten 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour over the 5,000 miles it's been since it left the factory. You can slide over and get a little status on your vehicle. It's telling you everything is okay. And then on the top right, we see our clock, a little bit of information for your media and phone. I bet if we pull that down, actually, if we pull down from anywhere at the top of the screen, we get some quick toggles. You get a do not disturb mode. That's definitely nice. In fact, I should probably have that on right now, but I disconnected my phone. Hide private information if you were loaning the vehicle to a friend or maybe a valet. You'd want to choose that. You can click notifications to see things. It looks like in 3.5, new tires were put on here and tire pressure monitor was updated. BMW ID, this is where you're going to log in with your BMW ID so you can save things like settings and climate control, media, that sort of deal from car to car and driver to driver. And a quick toggle to get to your system settings. Oh, and there's also the ability to turn the screen off. Press that, it fades away, and then it's totally blacked out. If you're driving at night, it'd be a lot easier on your eyes. Tap it to bring it back to life. Let's move our way across the bottom of the screen. Let's go first to media. Let's bring up Sirius XM. You can scroll through using the scroller knob down below, or buttons on the steering wheel for volume. You can see all of your different channels. Maybe if you had some favorites here, you could go there and bring those up. Pretty easy to navigate around that system. Let's make our way over to the navigation. Very responsive nav system. You can pinch to zoom. You can move around like that. Let's try putting in a destination. Seattle, Washington, 1,000 miles away. Okay. Start guidance. Is it going to add charging stops in here? Let's see. Maybe if I press this button right here. Charging stations along the route. Okay, so it's not exactly telling me which charging stations I need to stop at. It's just showing me charging stations near me on the map. Let's see. Route preview. Let's try settings. Route preferences. Alright, so it's possible that there is a way to do this. However, it's not being baked right in like a lot of other EVs that we know. Overall, I do think a lot of people are simply going to use their Apple CarPlay or Android Auto for navigation, but it is good to have a nice nav system built into the car, and we'll test it out with some voice settings here in a little bit. Making our way to the app screen, this is where you can see all of the different applications installed on the car. Now, we're not going to go into every single one, but we'll hit the ones that matter. You can do some automation here if you're logged in with your BMW ID, BMW Assistant, messages for texting. Let's go into charging and see what we got. All right, so here's going to be your ability to set if you want the car to be charged up at a certain time. Maybe you've got on or off peak charging times at your house. You can set those in there. Also a departure plan if you want the battery to be charged up to 100% at a certain time so you can leave, you can head out. That's good. AC limit. This is also important. If you're charging at an older house, for example, and you don't want to be maxing out their breaker the whole time, you can dial that AC charging limit down a little bit. Also charging target. For daily driving, you probably want to have this closer to 90 or 85%. Right there, it says a charging target of 80 is recommended for fast charging, optimal battery life, and the fastest charging route. It's good to know, but we're going to dial that back up to 100 for our testing. Unlock the charging cable. Okay, so it's nice to be able to adjust when the charging cable locks are unlocked so that you can't have people coming up and unplugging it. Preconditioning the battery, so if you're coming up to a DC fast charger and the temperatures are low, you can precondition the battery so that you can DC charge quicker as you get there. Plug and charge setup. You can set that up so that you can plug into Electrify America stations and the vehicle just starts charging and charges your card automatically. Fan loudness. This is kind of funny. Unrestricted or restricted. So maybe if you are in some sort of parking structure or condo complex, you don't want your fans running at max speed in the middle of the night, waking people up, you can dial that back. That's a clever thing for BMW to put in there. And location-based charging settings. So say maybe you only want the car to charge up to 85% when you're at home, you can do that, but then when you're on the go, you want it to charge up to 100. Again, you can tell BMW's been making EVs for a while and sort of knows what features are nice to have in the real world. We saw climate control. Let's go into displays. This is how you're going to adjust the cockpit brightness. And I kind of lament the fact that you can't do it with the physical control over on the left side. You got to dial into the screen here to change your cockpit brightness, but at nighttime you can adjust that. And it also comes up in the drop-down display. It's also how you're going to adjust your ambient light settings. So if we dial this up to max brightness, you can see kind of the purple around right now, but let's change it to, let's go to a green, or maybe this azure. So you can see even in the daylight you can see it. I'm glad BMW has stepped up their ambient light game, be more impactful. Head-up display settings. This is where you're going to turn on or off the head-up display and also adjust its height and some other information there. Instrument cluster, again, more information you can adjust, which screens you want to show up in that middle display. Converted speed. Okay, what is this? So switching over to kilometers per hour, you can have a little kilometers per hour thing pop up in the speedo. A lot of settings there to play with. Control display. Turn off. Another way to turn off the display, adjust the brightness, and dials into some system settings, which we're going to get into here in a moment. Under doors and windows, the ability to deactivate the anti-theft alarm, lock and unlock. So if you want it to be such that when you walk up to the vehicle, only the driver's door unlocks, be a little bit safer for you. You can also adjust some of the sounds and beeps and flashes that happen when you lock and unlock doors. Comfort access. Do you want the vehicle to unlock as you're walking up to it and lock when you're walking away? I like both of those features. Keys. This is where you're going to set up a digital key functionality with your phone, or you can use a key card, or you can adjust settings for the vehicle key if you're all logged in. And if you want the trunk opening to open up when you walk up and swipe your foot underneath, you can choose that there. Under driving settings, we've got some driver assistance adjustments. If you want your forward collision warning to warn you a little bit later or a little bit earlier, you can adjust that there. Same with your lane departure warning. Do you want it to warn you as you're coming out of lanes and help steering? Blind spot detection. A lot of different safety features in this car. Exit warning. So if it detects that some traffic is coming by, do you want it to yell at you? Fatigue alert. So if you're swerving all over the road, acting sleepy, the car will warn you. You can also adjust some warnings for your speeding. Different settings for parking. So this is where you're going to get your parking beepers. You can adjust how loud they are. You can also adjust if you want the car to brake for you as you're backing up. I think that's a nice feature. We should have that on. Drive off monitoring. The speed will be limited if when driving off having obstacles detected in the way. If there's a pet laying in front of your vehicle or a kid's bicycle, it'll warn you and kind of give you a little bit of slowing down there. Again, that's pretty nice. If you have your BMW ID logged in, you can have the panoramic 360 camera view, this right here. You can have this come up automatically based on GPS locations, and that's really clever because as you're pulling up to your house, you probably want that to come on, and it can just automatically pop up if you save that location. That, again, a lot of clever features in this car. Driving settings. You can have your speed limit assist be adjusted right there. You can have it warn you if you're speeding. Your distance control, this is going to be the only way to adjust the following distance for your adaptive cruise control. I don't love that that's buried in the system here, but we're going to want to have that set to close. Feedback via steering wheel. Light elements. Oh, okay, so this is going to be, if you're not touching the steering wheel enough, it's going to alert you via the lights. That's definitely good. Oh, so many safety features in here. Drivetrain and chassis, energy recovery and D. So this is an electric vehicle and it provides regeneration, energy going back into the battery when you're slowing down. And when you're in drive mode, not B, but drive, how much energy recovery do you want, how much regen. You can adjust that between adaptive, so it'll sense if there's traffic in front of you and slow down according to that traffic, or high, medium, or low. You can also turn on or off the fake noises, the iconic sounds in here. You'll see that in our driving videos. Drive off support. If you're stuck, you're going to want to activate this. It's going to turn off the traction control. And then parking brake. Do you want it to apply automatically when you put it into park? And there's our charging settings that we saw earlier. Over in exterior lighting, you have some adjustments for your outside lights. Pretty straightforward. Interior lighting, we saw these earlier. Live vehicle. This is going to show you some trip information, your efficiency. You can change that since last trip, since last charge, since factory, or since you reset the individual settings. What else do we got here? Adaptive content. All right, well, just a lot of different ways of seeing information about your vehicle, your tire pressure monitoring, when you need to service it, etc. More messages if you got your phone connected. Mobile devices, we're going to use this later when we pair up a phone. My modes. Now this car comes with various modes that BMW thinks you might want to have for different sorts of driving. It's going to change the artificial noise that's pumped into the cabin. It's going to adjust the windows, the climate control, in order to give you a certain mood. I don't want to engage any of them right now because it's going to change the setup of the vehicle, but you can see that in our full review. Here's your nav screen. Owner's manual. You're going to have a way to search by keyword, so you can either type things in. Actually, with you, this is a trackpad on top of the rotary knob here, so I could do something like fuses, and then it'll give us information about fuses. Now, obviously, you can just type in on the screen as well. You can also search by image, which is kind of cool. So you're looking around the car here. I want to see something about jacking points when I need to jack up the car. That's kind of nifty. Parking, this is going to get you to this 360 cam, which I showed you can also use this button down here by the rotary knob and get quickly to that. Seat comfort, driver seat comfort and passenger seat comfort. You can adjust pretty much the same settings that you have physical controls for over on the side. I don't know why you need to do this with the screen, but you do have that ability. I guess, can you do it to the passenger seat as well? Why would you only be able to do driver? That's interesting. All right, let's get into system settings. Up at the top, you have your date and time. We're going to want to have that on automatic. Well, apparently it's not available right now. I have no idea why, but that's how you adjust your date and time settings. Language, you've got English, Spanish, French, and what I assume is Chinese. Kind of surprised we don't have German in here, being a German car. Under voice control, this is going to be how you turn on or off your various personal assistant settings, and also you can turn on or off the Hello BMW wake word, which we're going to enable now. You can also do a personal wake word. Oh, but only with the BMW ID logged in, so you could probably make up any phrase and just say it to it, but we'll test that out here in a moment after these settings. And you have a few different adjustments for your visualization and prompts coming back at you from the voice commands. We're going to change the response length to short. That'll make things quicker later on. If you have your Apple device connected, you can have Siri respond to you with the voice control as well. Units, you can adjust which units are showed for power and distance and consumption. Sound settings is going to be how you adjust your equalizer and front, rear, left, right, fader, and balance. Gesture control. Now this car has gestures controls such as going like this to change track, going like this to pause the music, and going like this to adjust the volume. This is going to be something you're going to want to start with. I assume once you buy your vehicle, it'll prompt you through that getting started screen right away. Some software updates. Rear occupant alert, if you want to be notified if you might leave something in the back of the car, you have that on there. Wireless charging tray. This is actually kind of nice. If you have the wireless charging on, you put your phone on there. Listen. A little fan kicks in and actually keeps your phone from getting too hot. A lot of cars, the phones get really warm, wireless charging there, and this actually is one of the better wireless chargers that I've used in a long time. Also, it'll remind you if you leave a mobile device in the wireless charger when you're getting out. I definitely like having that. Lastly, you've got a reset vehicle data screen. This is going to be important if you go to sell your BMW, then you're going to want to reset all of your personal info away from the car. All right, let's test out some voice commands. So like I said, we've got that wake word we can use. We can also press this voice command button on the steering wheel. Hey BMW, navigate to the nearest Starbucks. So it's giving you some physical readout right there on the screen. 1.
Which one of these destinations?
1.
Okay. Start guidance.
Yes.
Guidance started.
All right, now the navigation's going and we should be able to cancel it. Hey BMW. Hey BMW. Cancel the navigation.
Okay, I've ended the guidance.
What's the weather like tomorrow?
Unfortunately, I have no information about the weather at this location.
That's strange. Set the climate to 62 degrees.
62 degrees Fahrenheit.
What else? Tell me a joke.
Could you repeat that, please?
No.
Okay.
So it's not a super clever assistant by any means, but it gets the basic functionality done. All right, let's take a look at Apple CarPlay. Now you can pair, I think, are we only wireless in this car? A lot of the newer BMWs have been only wireless pairing. But let's see what happens if we plug in our Apple CarPlay device. Only USB Type-C ports up there, so we're going to have to have an adapter for this. All right, yeah, we're not getting anything. We're obviously getting juice into our phone, but we're not getting any sort of data connection coming up like you would assume in a lot of cars. So it's only a wireless connection for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. And in order to pair up, we're going to have to go into our Bluetooth screen on our phone. And in the car, I'm going to press the phone icon and connect new telephone. And searching, and I see BMW on my iPhone. I'm going to press that. It also comes up on the screen as Charlie's iPhone. We get a pairing request on the phone, press pair for that number, allow anything that pops up on the phone, and then I'm going to choose to use Apple CarPlay. Would you like to use Siri in the vehicle? Long press the microphone button, and I'd like to have that Hey Siri option. Use CarPlay, press that on the iPhone. And there we go, Apple CarPlay coming up, taking up the whole screen, very wide, very stretched out resolution right there as well. And we can touch it, or we can use the rotary knob still. Again, looking decent resolution. Let's bring up Google Maps. Oh yeah, looking nice there. We can move it around, but no pinch to zoom on the iPhone. No rotary knob to zoom either. Let's bring up YouTube Music. What are we getting in the Super Mix today? Some Ric Flair Drip, Offset, Metro Boomin'. All right, let's bring our home screen up. And there's what it's going to look like with your map taking up to 2/3 there, and then media over on the right. In order to get back home, just press the home button. And there we go, back to the home BMW screen. How about Android Auto? Make it simple here. I'm going to go to my app screen and then go to mobile devices. And I'm going to disconnect the iPhone and actually unpair it. And we've got our Pixel 8 Pro wirelessly connected for Android Auto. Pressing that, bringing it up. There we go. Again, nice big wide screen version of Android Auto. So if we choose Google Maps, then we're getting that taking up the whole screen. Interestingly, the resolution doesn't seem very high. I don't know why that is, but we can zoom in, pinch to zoom with that. Let's do Amazon Music this time. Bring up Amazon Music. You see split screen in the other direction. Let's get recently played. And then we've got music and map. And if we go home, it flip-flops them. There's your app screen there. Again, always still getting that split screen layout. And again, also controllable with the rotary knob. So there it is, the infotainment system here in the BMW 5 Series and i5. Is there anything I missed that y'all wanted to know? Let me know. I can try to answer it in the comments. But this is one of my favorite text suites. It works well, and once you spend time learning iDrive 8.5, it's nice to use. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.